Hi guys, welcome to another video from Little Too Simple. If you're watching this video in the first half of 2023, you must be aware of the extreme popularity that ChatGPT has garnered in just a few months after its launch. But have you ever thought about who benefits the most from the tremendous success of this artificial intelligence program? By benefiting, we're referring to financial benefit, because ChatGPT was created by a for-profit company. After all, common sense would say that the company that created ChatGPT will benefit the most financially from its success. But what if we told you that your common sense is misleading you in this particular case, and that instead of OpenAI, there is another company that makes the most money from ChatGPT's success? And this company's financial success from ChatGPT has nothing to do with artificial intelligence, or even software, for that matter. Curious and confused at the same time? Well, that was the intention behind this introduction. And no, ChatGPT didn't write this introduction, pun intended. The company that benefits the most financially from the tremendous success of ChatGPT is none other than Microsoft. We're sure that some of you might have predicted it beforehand. But if you think this financial success is due to the integration of ChatGPT with Microsoft products, such as Bing, Edge browser, or potentially with MS Office in the future, then you're wrong. Instead, Microsoft's financial success from ChatGPT comes from a different source altogether. Before we talk about this source, let's take a step back and understand the background. Just like any other computer program, ChatGPT runs on a computer. Given the complexity of ChatGPT's code and the scale at which it operates, it can only be run and managed from high-end data centers with the best-in-class hardware, both in terms of processing and memory storage. Fortunately for OpenAI, we live in a world where multiple companies provide top-tier cloud computing services, and OpenAI uses one such provider, Microsoft Azure. ChatGPT runs entirely on the Azure Cloud, and as some of you might know, Azure is owned by Microsoft. But for ChatGPT, Azure is not just another cloud computing provider. Azure is actually the exclusive cloud computing services provider for ChatGPT. OpenAI is more or less locked into using Azure, and Azure alone, for its computing needs. This exclusivity happened because of a strategic move by Microsoft a few years ago, back when OpenAI was still a small, unknown startup that had yet to release even a single working product or service. Back in 2019, Microsoft invested $1 billion in OpenAI while it was still an early-stage company. This fact is widely known. But what many people don't know is that a large portion of this $1 billion investment came in the form of Azure computing credits. You might now be wondering why OpenAI would accept such a deal, one that essentially forced them to use Azure instead of any other cloud computing providers such as Amazon Web Services, AWS. The answer is simple. Microsoft offered those computing credits at a greatly subsidized, almost zero profit price. This made the deal incredibly compelling for OpenAI, as it was nearly impossible for them to purchase computing power at that scale and price from any other provider. On top of that, Azure designed and deployed a supercomputer that was highly customized and optimized to run the GPT code. This improved the efficiency of GPT programs while reducing computing costs for OpenAI. As a result, OpenAI, in a way, got locked into the Azure cloud. This meant that if and when any OpenAI product took off, Azure Cloud would benefit immensely from the increased demand for computing power. And ChatGPT did exactly that. After ChatGPT's tremendous success, Microsoft is now moving to further solidify its position by investing another $10 billion in OpenAI, to ultimately own about 49% of the company. And as some of you might have guessed, a large chunk of this $10 billion investment will also be in the form of Azure computing credits. If you're already spellbound by this brilliant business strategy, wait till you hear this. It's just the tip of the iceberg. Once OpenAI uses up all the Azure computing credits it received as part of Microsoft's investment, it will have to start paying Microsoft for using Azure computing power. And the bigger OpenAI gets, the greater its computing needs become, meaning higher revenues for Microsoft. But there's more. Since Microsoft will own 49% of OpenAI, they'll also get early access to OpenAI's latest technologies. This not only gives them a first-mover advantage, but as they integrate OpenAI's technologies into products like Bing, Edge, and MS Office, it will further drive OpenAI's cloud computing demand, again benefiting Microsoft. In short, Microsoft is increasing its cloud computing revenue by integrating OpenAI's technology into its own products. If that's not a double benefit, then what is? At this point, you might be thinking, this is a great strategy, but how much money can Microsoft actually make from all this? And is it more than what OpenAI would make? Well, in early 2023, just a few weeks after ChatGPT's launch, OpenAI's cloud computing costs were already upwards of $3 million per day. Given the massive increase in ChatGPT's adoption since then, those costs have likely gone even higher. When OpenAI CEO Sam Altman revealed the $3 million per day figure, ChatGPT had less than 10 million users. But within weeks, that number exploded to over 100 million users. Considering that ChatGPT is just one product from OpenAI, and only its third iteration, it's safe to say that soon, OpenAI's computing costs could rise to tens of millions of dollars per day. And since all these costs are paid to Azure, Microsoft is poised to make tens of billions of dollars every year from OpenAI alone. Now, will Microsoft end up making more money from OpenAI's technology than OpenAI itself? The answer is a clear yes. That's because 80 to 90% of OpenAI's operating expenses go into computing costs, which means Microsoft will keep receiving that money forever. So ultimately, Microsoft will make more money from OpenAI's technologies than OpenAI themselves. Add to this the valuation gains from their ownership stake, and the early access to OpenAI's innovations, and the deal becomes an absolute masterstroke. There's only one man behind Microsoft's incredible positioning in the AI revolution, and that's Satya Nadella. Generating exceptional results through strategic thinking and foresight is nothing new for Satya. But with the OpenAI deal, we can confidently say that he even outdid himself. If you're interested in knowing the other ways Satya Nadella turned Microsoft around and made it one of the most profitable and valuable companies in the world, check out our video on that topic. Just click the link on the top right corner of your screen. This story is just one example of how a business can succeed and profit immensely from something that it's not directly involved in. Subscribe to our channel for many more such interesting business stories. Thanks for watching, and see you all again in the next video.